Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Magically Cruising, the cruise podcast where we share our personal cruise tips and reviews to help you make the most out of your next sailing. My name's Kieran. I'm an independent travel agent specializing in all things cruise, Disney, and North America, and I'm joined by my fellow co-host.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I write over at Cruising with Kids, and we offer cruise tips and advice for families cruising and cruising without the kids.
And today, Sarah, this is a port that you've recently been to, and it's a port that I've also been to. So it's rare that we've been to the same port in America. So I think this is quite an exciting topic for us to kind of share with our listeners. But do you want to let the guys know where we're sailing to today on this episode?
Oh, I like that. Sailing to today.
Have you practiced it in my mirror every
no.
day? Like new catchphrases.
So we're going to talk today about Key West Cruise Port, which, it just blew my mind.
Yeah. I was so excited. So I won a trip with Virgin Voyages basically for kind of sales performance 2 years ago, plus I think it was now. So I got invited to do a sailing with them, and one of the ports was Key West, and I was so excited because I've always wanted to visit. I've been to Orlando 30 times, or Florida 30 plus times, and I've never made it down to the Keys. And this has been on my bucket list destination to go type of thing. So when it was on the itinerary that I saw when I was invited on board, I was like, I'm so excited for this. And I think I've talked about this in the past when we've alluded to Key West. We did have a kind of 4-hour hotel inspection as part of our day in Key West. So I haven't seen as much of Key West as I would like, or as you have, but I have helped customers visit it as well. So it's definitely somewhere that I've been to. I love it. I think it's an incredible destination, and it's somewhere I want to go back to as well to kind of have a bit more time to visit and explore. But you've recently been there, haven't you, on your recent celebrity cruise?
Yes, so what is it? I don't know. What have we been back? 2 or 3 weeks? I don't even know. That's what life's been like. Yeah, we stopped for the day and we were really excited to go. Me, mainly because we'd been to Hemingway's bar and in Cuba, and I knew that Hemingway's house was here.
Yes.
It was all
Yeah.
very closely linked. So I was really excited to go to Hemingway's house. And it just looked pretty. So I thought, yes, I know I'm going to like that. Chris did a bit more research for me of this time, and he was super excited. And it exceeded every expectation we had. It's just one of the most beautiful places I've ever been.
It's really unique, isn't it, as well? Because it's not just kind of a beachy destination as well. It's got an amazing kind of cuisine culture. It's got a lot of history and of kind of, because of its location within kind of the Orlando or the North America kind of peninsula. It's got this amazing kind of retirement vibe about it as well, because it is such a popular kind of holiday destination. There's just so many different angles to it that you could enjoy about it. It's not just as if you go there and it's a couple of restaurants. There's so many layers you can uncover with Key West, I think, which is what makes it a bit unique, even just for Florida. Florida itself has such a breadth of culture across kind of North and South Florida, but this is the very, very, very far tip. You've got to travel like 4 hours by car down to the Keys if you want to do it as kind of a land break, at least anyway. So it is quite a distance away from the rest of Florida itself.
Do you know what though? If I could go back and do all my Disney days again, I'd tag Key West onto it every time, because it's just incredible. It's just the perfect way to finish a Disney holiday, the perfect cruise stop. I mean, there's only one cruise ship is allowed to stop every day,
I
so
believe so, yeah.
it's not packed. It feels safe. It's just the whole vibe is just incredible.
Yeah. And what's really unique with it as well is, like I mentioned, the downtown area, and like we're not talking sprawling metropolis. This isn't massive. You can walk. I walked kind of the length of the Key West downtown area, at least anyway, and it took me, say, about 30-40 minutes, I think, to get from where the ship docks over to the most southern point, the buoy, basically the big tourist landmark you can go to. And I think it took me 30 minutes, 40 each way. But the ship's dock, as you say, then right in the heart of kind of the downtown shopping area. So it is a bit of a kind of cruise port, if you want to call it that, where there's lots of like places to grab a bite to eat. There's lots of restaurants on the kind of the waterfront. You've got beachfront kind of areas. So it is a really lovely area, isn't it? Kind of just a quickly pop off. You can walk it from the ship to the shop is about 10 minutes, I would say, if that.
Yeah, and I'd say this is one port that you definitely do not need to do a cruise tour. You can self-explore for yourself, and it's really, really easy. So I'll pop the link in because I've got a post over on Mini Travelers at the moment. I haven't done the Cruising with Kids one.
Yeah, I think it's pretty unique as well, isn't it? As you've mentioned earlier on, it does dock. The ship kind of docks right in the heart of kind of the downtown strip, if you want to call it that. And it's not a particularly big strip, but I would say it probably takes like 10 minutes, if that, to get off the ship and to the nearest kind of shops or restaurants, isn't it? Kind of that little downtown area.
Yeah, I mean, as you walk off, because you've got, I don't know if it was there when you were there, but you walk off and you've got the front I don't know, what would you call it, promenade bit. And there's a bar. It's actually really clever because it's got a tent, like a I don't know, like it is like a tent, like a marquee, and the bar is a car.
Oh, really?
Um, and it was boiling, so you don't think that's going to be really hot, but it isn't. It's got air conditioning pumped into it from a fan.
Ah, nice. I don't think that was there when I went, or if it was, I didn't see it.
Maybe it just comes when the ships are. I don't know, but and then it's, as you say, it's like a couple of minute walk from there, so 10 minutes max on to get into Mallory Square, and that's where I mean you've got an aquarium there, you've got quite a few different museums, you've got the museum, and then you've got a market, you've got the shell shop, and that's all within. I mean the shell shop. Did you go in
I
the shell
didn't,
shop?
like I said, we had an hour, 2 hours max spare, so I prioritized going down that long road where the Hemingway house is, right to the buoy, because that was the big landmark, and I had that quintessential kind of Instagram versus reality moment whereby you see other
Yeah.
people's pictures and it's like there's nobody else around and it's really easy to get a picture. And then I turned and looked left and literally there's this like hour-long line and I was like, I'm not
Massive
having a picture
queue.
with a boy. Like, but I
No,
haven't got time. I go back to
no.
the ship. So I was hot and sweaty, sticky and bothered because I decided to power walk it all the way there. And literally as I was power walking down the road as well, the rest of the group of the trip on the trip with us were all on the minivan or the bus that takes you there.
All right.
So they were all waving at me. They were ringing me, going like, "Why did you walk all the way there?" I was like,
I know, and it's air
just
conditioned.
autopiloted my way. I was like, "Hey, do you want to go see it?" So yeah,
You need to. I mean, that's the first thing I'd do is I'd get off and go to Mallory Square. They've got a shell shop, and honestly, the Christmas decorations and home stuff, and I could have just bought so many shells and the colours. It was amazing. Then you got a market with this sponge man outside, which is like a sponge monster, but kids seem to like it. They're all having a photo done with it. So I managed to get a photo while the child was ducking behind it. But there's loads going on, and then you've got a memorial garden, and it's a memorial to people that made a difference to Key West, which
right.
is really worth looking and stopping and having a look at that first. Because then when you go round the island, you're like, ah, yeah, because Hemingway's there. There was lots of people. So reading about all the people that made a difference, and that was the first time it struck me that there were chickens everywhere and hens and roosters. And I've never seen anything like it in my life. They're everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. It's a weird like odd juxtaposition though, isn't it? Of a kind of like you got that little area that's a little bit built up, and you've got all the shops and the restaurants and all the kind of
Mm.
the marina front hotels type of thing. And that's what we did. We had a hotel inspection, and we had a wonderful meal. Like the hotel we stayed, we spent some time in with the Key West Tourism Board type of thing. It was lovely. But I had a lovely day. You got all that area, but then you literally go a bit further out, and it starts getting a little less populated, doesn't it? And it's still built up, but
Mm.
it's not like as if it's lots of shops and retail. It's houses, people living there, retirement homes, that type of stuff. And there's lots of history there as well. Like I didn't have time to go in and fully have a look, but like there's lots of monuments to kind of they look like war memorials almost to some extent. I'm not sure if they were, but they look like they were. And like there's an old library, the old museum, and the firehouse and all that type of stuff, and all those things that you love about kind of South Florida as well, where you go all the palm trees and all that type of stuff. It's just got an amazing kind of color to it. I think is the one thing I took away from it when I went.
It is. It's amazing. I mean, I haven't researched the chickens, but I mean, at one stage, Chris was laughing at me. I mean, I had a few glasses of wine at the beach bar, which we'll talk about later. But there was chickens in the road, and I was trying to rush it and chase them out the road. It's just like they live here, like people are used to them. But I was like, yeah, but if it got run over on my watch, I wouldn't forgive myself. Um, but yeah, but then that Mallory Square, that is where you go to get the conch train. So the conch train you pay
Right.
for. Let me just find the price.
Isn't that though? It's 'cause, like if you come out to the marina, so you're looking at you got all the buildings in front of you. You got to go further to the left, haven't you, to get to that square? See, I
Yes.
didn't go there. I went the other way, which is why. So when everybody else got the train, I missed the train, and I kind of saw the other side of it. So I saw the shop fronts and the hotels along the marina front, but didn't actually see the downtown shopping precinct, Mallory Square. I didn't make it to that.
Right. It's brilliant because you've got like markets and there's not many. I'm trying to think, was there any bars? I don't think there was, but it was early in the morning, so I wouldn't have been looking for one. But it's just like lots of shops and like I say, there's museums and the aquariums. There's loads of like as a family, you could get off and not leave that
Yeah,
square, and there's
yeah, yeah,
enough.
yeah.
And they've got that memorial. It's I think it's the big memorial in the middle with the anchors, which looks a bit like a war one. I'm sure it was something to do with the first people to land there sailing. So, but then from there, you can get the hop on, hop off conch tour bus. You can
Yep.
get your tickets there or you can book them ahead. and it was £35 per person. Our children was
Right.
16.50, and the benefit of that, it was hop on, hop off, and it's open, um, and we didn't get that. But the benefit was that you got the commentary all the way around.
Right.
So as you were going, they were telling you all about the history of the island. Now, because we'd done the research and Chris had done quite a lot, we'd read quite a bit. So we got the free bus. So, oh, what's the red building called? There's a big red building.
Is that right? And that's what
Let's have a
I
look.
think that's the picture I'm looking at now. I'll see if I can find the name of it.
I think it's Custom House. Now, if you go to there, and there was a police lady directing traffic, so we asked her, but just past there, there's a bus stop. And if you're going, just make a note of this. You can get the Duval Loop bus, and the Duval Loop bus is free.
Right. Okay.
So, but you obviously there's no commentary, so it's not. I mean, $35 for a tour, a guy, and then I mean they were talking all the time because they kept going past us because we walked quite a lot as well. So $35 is brilliant for that because you're getting all the history
Yeah.
and they're telling you stuff. But then we got the free bus, and that because we wanted to get down to Hemingway's quite quickly to do the tour, and we got that. And it's literally when you get go on the Duval Loop website, you just keep reloading it on your phone. You don't even need an app; it's just on the website, and you can see where the bus is all
Really?
the
Okay.
time.
Cool.
So you can it's free, totally free, so you just get on and get off where you want, and it goes right round in a circle, down to the buoy, round up, is it, Duval Street, which is like the main street, and then round to the back round to, um, near the red building. So that was totally free. So we did that and went down to do Hemingway first, and I'm glad we did because we got there and you can't book it, you've got to get in the queue. I can't remember how much it was. It was about $20, I think, and that includes a guided tour, but you don't have to. So you either wait for the guided tour or you can just go in and
Yeah.
self-explore, which we did because we wanted to read everything. Um, but when we come out, the queue was massive.
Yeah, it was big when I walked past it. So I kind of
Mm.
power walked, like I say, down that strip, and it was such a bad decision because it was so hot as well when I went. So I did get a bit of sunburn this day type of thing, which is why everyone was laughing at me. But I loved all the different houses you can see on the street as well. So people obviously
Oh, I
decorate all their
know.
houses. But that's the picture I was looking at now. I called it the Fiesta house, and it was this giant house that had kind of lots of Mexican inflatables outside of it type of thing, and they painted and decorated all the house in lots of really bright colors. But these are residents who live there and they just decorate their
Mm.
house on this. I'm pretty sure this is Duval Street. This is that main long. I'm trying to find the name of the road that this is on, but this is the main road that leads from the downtown area to the buoy. And I'm pretty sure I'm trying to get into the maps of my photos to see. Yeah, it's up at Duval. Yes, it was
It
Duval.
might have been Whitehead Street. So because we went down Whitehead Street and then came back on Duval Street.
Maybe it's definitely one of those two streets anyway.
Yeah.
Because I also walked past, yeah, the lighthouse. Here we go, the lighthouse and Keeper's Quarters Museum as well. It was closed the day I went, typical. But I walked past that as well. Like there's loads of little smaller, kind of off the beaten path landmarks. There's some little tiny bars, and we're talking like boutique businesses as well. Like there's lots of things to see and do. So if you wanted and you had a bit more time than I did, you could stop off and do some shopping. Just be mindful this road is it's not long. It's like I say, it took me about 30 minutes to walk the whole length of it. It was just I was doing it very quickly because I had limited time and it was baking and I had very little water on me. So it was very bad planning, which is a common theme we keep having of this. Um, just I underestimated how hot it was, and we'd been drinking and eating in this hotel type of thing, and I drunk all my water, and I had like a third of my flask left, so it was very, very bad planning on my part. The Cedar House was another one as well. Did you see the Cedar House? That's on this same street as well.
What was it? Like, what?
So I don't think it's like a major landmark, but it's a whole house that's made of cedar wood, and it's got like all kind of
Oh, I didn't
signage
see
outside
that.
of it. But you could just smell the cedar wood as well as soon as you step up to it, type of thing. I don't think it's a tourist attraction per se, but you can walk past it and see it as well. But this comes back to what I was saying about how colorful it is. Like there were so many houses decorated
Mm.
differently. There was one house that had like loads of disco or metallic spinning
Mm.
things on it, type of thing. They're called like catchers. So as you're walking past, there's just this like kaleidoscope of color in the house type of thing. And I just love that in itself, I think was worth the heat stroke I potentially got. Just seeing all these cool houses kind of decorated and
Yeah.
dressed up. I love that side of it.
Well, we went just after Valentine's Day, and so that there was quite a few houses that was decorated for Valentine's, and they
Right.
really go
Yeah.
out, don't they? And
Hmm.
then quite a few for St. Patrick's Day as well. But so because we walked down it'll be Whitehead Street, and did Hemingway. I know we got the bus to Hemingway, then we walked down from Hemingway to the lighthouse. The only thing we didn't do, I said to Chris, I am not climbing those stairs because it was
Yeah,
boiling.
yeah,
It was really hot. And then we went down to the southernmost tip to the buoy. Now we knew already that we weren't going to queue
yeah,
to get that
yeah,
picture. But if you stand to the right, you can get a
yeah,
picture, but you just don't get the
yeah,
writing on. And if you're strategic, you're not getting in anyone's way. You're not queue jumping
yeah.
because you can't. Like we had a selfie with a sea behind us, but then I just took a picture of the boy that you don't get the writing on, but you can because people around the other side taking pictures,
Yes.
they're not in your way.
Yeah.
So I just got the end of it. And then there's also a butterfly sanctuary near there
Okay.
if you've got kids with you. Now we didn't do that, and I do love butterflies, but we didn't do that because then I wanted to go down to the beach, not to sit on the beach because I don't like the beach, but I wanted to go to the beach bar.
Yeah.
And there's a beach bar when you come out and go. So you come where the boy is, you go left. So you go down at the end of White Street and down, and
Yep.
you've got the southernmost tip cocktail beach bar, and
Nice.
it was amazing. And
Yeah.
we got some wings there, and we had a couple of glasses of wine, and just sat. It was a bit like Cheers, but outside. It was just brilliant. Um,
Nice.
no, but this was, like, really interesting because we got talking to the barman and, because he was because we were saying, "Oh, the houses are all so pretty," and he said, "There isn't a house on that strip that's less than £1 million dollars."
Really? Yeah.
And, I mean, some of them are tiny, aren't they? And he said, "What we've ended up with in Key West is we've ended up with millionaires serving billionaires." He said, "That it's such a rich
Really?
island." So we spent quite a bit of time in there. It was lovely, and obviously, you've got the beach, and then you've got this wall with the peace sign on.
Is that the picture you posted on
Now
your
I don't
feed?
Yeah, now I don't know, but I've also seen one at exactly the same. So if anybody knows this, please comment and tell me because this is just probably my romantic mind, but exactly the same in Havana
Right.
facing, and they put that on in Havana facing America when they whatever
Yeah.
stopped all the I don't know if it's peace is the right word, but agreed to not argue. Um, And that is the point that faces are random. So, and you think, I hope that is, but it's just really nice to see. And then it's got a big old, just the buildings are amazing. Historic building behind it. It was breathtaking.
It is, isn't it? We talk about this on the podcast quite a lot. Those postcard places, the places you go the
Mm,
postcards you see, they're not kind of like just made up or they're not CGI or whatever. That's actually what it
mm,
looks like. And every angle you turn and look at type of thing,
yeah.
whether it's the marina, yes, that. So the hotel we stayed in, it was right on the waterfront. It has a nice pool. That's what my
Mm,
backdrop is now. So Scarlet Lady is directly in front of the hotel pool type of thing. And it just looks like that typical Floridian kind of townhouse or hotel recreational
mm.
type of resort type of thing with a spa and everything. And it was just lovely to kind of we didn't get to sit by the pool. We got in the restaurant next to it type of thing. But to be eating key lime pie type of thing by the marina front
Mm.
overlooking the water was just lush. And it is that picture perfect postcard moment that we live for when we go on holiday and travel.
And this is that place, isn't it? It is, everything's historic, it's beautiful, it feels safe. I mean, if you're watching on YouTube, then you can see behind me is the bar, the
Is that the bar
southernmost
you're on
tip.
about?
And it's just, yeah, and it's like that's the palm trees,
Yeah.
blue sea. Oh, it was just
Scary.
beautiful. And we went, it's like a little ghetto.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just stunning. So I definitely recommend going there. Super friendly, and we had wings and fries, and it was brilliant. But then after that, we then did Duval Street. And Duval Street is just phenomenal.
I need to refresh my memory which street's which now so I know which one I'm talking about. 'Cause maybe it's Whitehall and I didn't do Duval Street.
Duval Street's the one with the rainbows on, and it's got the rainbow site crossings, and it's got like
I'll have to look it up to check and I.
Pride. It's got like a wall with Pride on. It's got lots of cannabis shops, lots of art galleries.
No, I didn't. I walked down Whitehead, you're right. So I didn't get to go down Duval Street, sorry, but I know it's the popular one as well. Yeah, because I walked past the Key West Lighthouse and the Hemingway House is actually across the road, isn't it, from the White House Museum, the Lighthouse Museum
Yeah,
even.
it is.
I'm trying to remember my memory. It was such a blur because, like I said, I stupidly went out without sunscreen on as well and without water, so I was a bit delirious by the time I got to the actual buoy at the bottom of the road. I just loved seeing all the small businesses as well. Though I love when you go somewhere and it's not all just like big business. It's not kind of another Jimmy Buffett's, if you get me. It's not another Margaritaville type of thing. There's lots of small businesses. There's lots of local art as well. So you can kind of find local artists who've made stuff, as you say, like out of shells or the stuff they collected from the beach, which I know we're not supposed to do. But I love it when you see kind of that local art and local coloring coming in, kind of that Key West color palette comes in a lot of the
Mm.
artwork. And they had some really cool designer stores as well. So you can kind of get the really high end boutique art as well as kind of the local, more
Mm.
artisan stuff as well. But I noticed it on Whitehead as well, and I may have ventured off one of the two of the sites, so I can't remember exactly what it was. But there was some local small businesses as well, where you're getting kind of more
Mm.
independence, kind of what we would call
Mm.
gift shops, like in the UK, where you can get like the
Mm.
magnets and all that type of stuff that are more local. So it's kind of local artist work showcased. I love walking around all that type of stuff as well. And there's a big, big kind of culture around Key West in itself as well, about like the local cuisine and the food and music and things like that as well. That's a big part of what Key West is about.
Definitely. I mean, as I walked down Duval Street, I mean, I'm trying to think of some of the things that really stood out. First of all, the galleries, and there was lots of art
Yeah.
shops and galleries. So there was, I've told you, I don't know if I think I've told you, there was a Wyland one.
Okay.
Um, and so I spent ages in there looking. And then I think Chris gets a bit fatigued with me looking at art. It's like, then there was one gallery, right? And it was all like 3D. And it, honest to God, the picture just, it was just donuts. It was 6
Really?
donuts on, but they were 3D like models. But it was beautiful, the colours, and so I spent ages and ages looking at art, and there was a lot of really famous. There was one that was like Peter Max, which is he's on a lot of the cruise ships. But there was just loads, and it was all different, unique art. So I spent quite a bit of time in there. There was this one bar, and everybody that played there, there was always a band on, there was a band on and walked past, but everyone that played there signed $1.
Really?
And they stuck it to the ceiling, to the
Yeah.
walls, oh my God, if that place caught fire. But the whole place, it was just it was decorated everywhere. The walls, the ceiling were dollars that were signed. So that, I mean, can
Cool.
you imagine though, right? If you had someone that was really famous and then you'd be like, "Where's that one?" I'm trying to find it. Like years later. So there was that. There was lots of bars and cafes. It was like very pride
Mm,
friendly, and some of the crossings were rainbow. Pride murals. It was stunning. It was just absolutely beautiful. But there
yeah.
was lots of places, cafes to stop and have a drink, to have something to eat. So it was shops, galleries, bars. It was just everything you could think of really on one
Yeah.
street. It was unbelievable, but the vibe was
It's
chilled.
very chilled, isn't it? You can tell it's
Mm,
a kind of vacation destination, if you get what I mean, for Americans and for cruisers, because everyone's there to kind of
mm,
just relax and unwind and enjoy themselves. And yes, there's a lot to see and do, but even the people who were there on land breaks, I think they're there to kind of just go and
mm,
enjoy themselves, relax and take it slow. Like the hotel we
mm,
stayed in or we stopped off at, it was just all very much about spa retreats and chilling by the pool and great food, great
uh,
drink type of thing. It's very much like enjoy the sunset culture rather than kind of like rushing to
uh,
get everywhere. You could see some of the sites, you can walk to them in a couple of hours. Like you don't have to rush to get to the sites. On a cruise ship, you may have to because you're only there for a couple of hours.
yeah.
But if you were to have a bit more time to do a bit of a land stay there, and this is how I've normally sold it. It's either part of a cruise port, obviously stop off, or my customers are usually doing it pre or post voyage. So they'll maybe go and do a Caribbean cruise, or last customers who stayed there, they did a transatlantic. They ended
Mm,
in Miami and then they drove down to Miami, to Key West, sorry. So it is a bit of a trek. It's a good, like I say, 4 hours. That drive alone apparently is one of those most iconic journeys because you're going over all kind of the ocean bridges between all the different keys to get down to Key West because it is the most southern of the islands. So you do pass all the other keys on the way there as well. I believe from the training and when I was chatting to the tourist board, the top ones are more kind of nature reserves. So they're a bit more wildlife orientated, or maybe not the top, but some of the ones towards the top anyway. You've got to get past them to get down to the ones where there are communities and this, that, and the other on them. So there are other keys you could stay on that have resorts and hotels, but the main one is Key West, which is the most southern point.
And there's actually on that Duval loop, there is a bus that goes. When you look, you can see where all the buses are, and there is a bus that goes across all the
Yeah,
islands.
probably. Yeah.
So if you was there longer, you could do that easily, and that's free. Yeah, I mean, on Duval Street as well, which I will mention because you can't not mention it. There was loads and loads of cannabis shops,
Really.
um, but it weren't. I'm not into it. It's
Yeah.
not my vibe at all. But it wasn't seedy. But it was funny because there was one sign on one door and it said we're closed. Sorry, we're closed. We're stoned. Oh, okay. But yeah, it was. But they were mixed in amongst everything
Yeah.
else, and then there was like historic bars with like big wood balconies, like you'd expect to see in New Orleans, going right around the building, and people all sat eating and drinking. It was such a cool vibe.
Well, a big part of like Key West history is like that, like the hippie culture. So a lot of kind of the people who maybe were living there or kind of emigrated or retired there in kind of the 70s era
Mm,
would have been hippies type of thing. And you can see that as well, a lot of the art. That you can kind of see in a lot of the houses that maybe are kind of 70s houses. They are a little bit
mm,
hippie, boho chic. I wouldn't even say chic, they're just very boho type of thing. So you've got a lot of that stuff juxtapositioned by the really like this hotel we did the visit in the Opal Key. I think it was like £400 to £500 a night. It's not a cheap hotel to stay in type of thing. So you've got those really high end luxury hotels as well down there. You've got a lot of
mm,
timeshare resorts, but equally as well, there's a very boho bohemian culture there, which comes into the music
mm,
scene that's down there as well, or the cuisine scene that's down there. So it's that really weird. It's not all high end expensive. The hotels generally are because there's a limited amount
mm.
of hotels, but I found hotels for customers that were in the kind of premium territory for about 100 and something a night. I think 150 a night, something like that they paid. And they raved about it. They loved the hotel. I can't remember the name. Please do not ask me the name of the hotel. It's a while ago since they went and I booked it. I spent a lot of time looking for like a boutique, independent hotel on the island. There's loads of them though. You could easily find some nice hotels.
I think the key with Key West is you got to be organised because all aboard is 4 o'clock. Now that was
Yeah.
in that was in February. I don't know because it gets dark early in the Caribbean, doesn't it? So I don't know what it's
Yeah.
like in the summer because I don't think I've ever been. It's like I've either been August, September, or earlier.
We were in there in May and all aboard. I'm pretty sure we were at sea by 4:30, 5 o'clock type of thing. So I think we mentioned this when we talked about it on your
Yeah.
Apex episode. The ships legally have to be gone before sunset because that's one of the criteria basically. So as to not block the view of sunset for all the people staying in the hotels on the marina front. The ships have to be gone well before sunset. So you're not going to be able to see sunset by ship. But it is, I love sunsets in Florida anyway. They're stunning. So I can imagine
Mm.
like as the sun comes down, it would be amazing on that waterfront.
Do you know? I always miss them. Every day I think right. I think they happen so quickly, don't they? So it's like we'll be out doing something or in a bar, and then it'll be like, right. Okay, let's
Yeah.
go back to the cabin, get ready for going out tonight, or doing something. Might go in a bar, and then the next thing it's dark. It's like,
Yeah.
well, how did that happen? How did that
Well,
happen?
they
It
they
just
joke about it
literally.
because
Boom.
Phil's this is how I know, like, Fort Lauderdale in Miami. So Phil's cousin she now lives there, and Floridians do joke that, like, sunsets in 10 minutes type of thing because it's so flat,
Yeah.
like, literally, there's no mountains, there's nothing in kind of Florida. There's nothing for the sun to hit or catch for it to slowly go down, so it's not like it goes behind the hills or the mountains or
Mm.
whatever, but it's still setting behind it. It literally hits the horizon and it's gone, and that's it. So it's as you say, you kind of you don't see it until it hits the horizon, and then it's dark.
Yeah. I don't think I really ever. All the years I've gone to Caribbean, and I've gone for years, and I don't think I've probably seen one. Which, because here, like you say, it's like a slow process, and
Yeah.
the sky's red for ages, and it's
Yep.
beautiful. But yeah, I can't think of one I've seen. But
Uh,
that's because that's the time that I'm probably having a glass of wine before going to get ready, or
I always do. It's my favorite time of day. I love sunsets and sunrise in Florida. I just absolutely adore it. I spend hours like Disney. You don't get to see it as much when you're in kind of Central Florida, but definitely for by the coast, especially as well. Whether it's Tampa, Cocoa Beach, or down in Key West, staying in the Caribbean, it's that magic time of night type of thing. And Phil's cousin actually has. She did have when we stayed there anyway for our honeymoon. We stayed with her for a couple of nights in Miami. And we went to a
mm,
friend's wedding. No, not wedding, which was Thanksgiving, sorry. We spent Thanksgiving there, sorry. Hers overlooked, sorry, the beach, the waterfront. So we got to see sunset pretty much every day then from her kind
mm,
of apartment overlooking the beach. And it was just stunning. I love sunsets in Florida. It's just my
mm.
favorite reason to go.
Yeah, and I mean we talked about this before, but we were saying, oh, the flight was just really hard this time. So I really don't want to do it unless I'm doing business or premium economy next time, just because I felt really cramped. Um, but when you're there and when you're having these experiences, it just makes it all so worth it because it is
Yeah.
just. And where else do you get weather like that in February?
Do you
It's
get what I
there,
mean?
Dubai.
Yeah.
It's I just love the Caribbean. I just love being there.
I think it's, like we've talked about this on the Miami episode. I'm not a massive fan of kind of that busy hustle bustle of Miami, but I love that sunset. I love the sitting in a
Mm,
bar, watching the sunset, cocktails, that vibe. Key West gives you all of that. You've got that kind of slower pace where there's nightlife, definitely. There's always music festivals, there's culture, there's art, there's all stuff happening in the evenings down in Key West. It's not dead. It doesn't like nobody goes to bed like early in Key West, but it's just a slower pace of life. Nobody's rushing to get anywhere type of thing. It's a lot more relaxed and chilled out because it's so easily accessible. You can walk everywhere. You can go between the different bars and wander around type of thing. Whereas Miami, you can't easily do that. So I think it's just got this lovely kind of switch off, relax, and drink in the scenic scenes type of thing, rather than kind of rushing to get to the bar and then you go into this place and that bar and then this opens at that time. It's a much slower, chill pace, and it's a nice break, I think, from kind of doing that kind of chaos of Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
Yes, I suppose if I had to give my top tips, it would be off early, definitely,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
all the board's 4 o'clock, so you've got to be back. You don't need to book a tour. You can either get the bus and pay for the contra tours, trains, or you can get the free bus, which is on the app. There's lots of museums. You don't even have to leave the port area really if you don't want to. It's all very easy to walk. It's not hilly, and you've got like a really nice promenade area actually that you can walk around and see the ship. You've got museums, shops. But if you want to see the southernmost point, then I'd say go down White Street. You can walk or get the bus. Either equally easy, but like you say, if it's really hot,
Take water.
save you, yeah, save your energy for walking back. That's what I'd say. Get to Hemingway's early, and do that. Then over the road, you've got the what's it called? Tall building that stops ships, lighthouse.
Lighthouse. Yeah, it's like, I don't know.
That's your answer. And then you've got the butterflies. If you've
Yeah.
got kids with you, if you like butterflies, the southernmost point. If you really want to queue, then go for it. But if not, just nick round the side, then walk round, do the bar. Yeah, you can have a soft drink. You don't have to have a wine, but it was very nice. The beach, if you like the beach, then if you just want to spend it down the beach, just head straight down there and then walk back down Duval Street. And that's where it's all going on. And you can have drinks and shop and fantasy shop for art because there was nowhere
Yeah.
else affording any of that. But
It's getting it back
it's
home
just,
as well, isn't it?
well, yeah. But honestly, I was just, oh, it was beautiful. It was all, but yeah, it's really easy to spend a day there, and you can fit so much in. You've just got to be aware of your all aboard time because the ships do leave early.
One thing as well, it was an option for us, but the timings didn't work out. There is also, and it's about a 40-minute drive away from where the ship docks, but you can go kayaking as well through kind of, not necessarily
Right.
the mangroves, the wrong word, but you can go kayaking through kind of like, it's not the Everglades either, but it's like that environment anyway type of thing. So
Mm,
you can go kayaking through kind of the water, the rivers nearby, and it
mm.
is on Key West, the main Key West Island. So I know you can do that as well. It was one thing we were all looking to do, but the start time was during our hotel inspection, so we couldn't do that as well. So there's also active stuff as well. It's not as if it's a retiree kind of, OAP village. There are lots of active stuff if you wanted to go off and explore and do some kind of more water sports stuff or kayaking or hiking and things like that. There are trails, nature paths you can do as well further away from where the ship docks. So that type of stuff you may have to organize either ahead. But the Key West tourism board's fantastic. Like they've got a ton of information about all the different keys as well. So if you are looking for kind of what there is to do, whether it's rumba cuisine, whether it's seasonal kind of festivals and art and all that type of stuff, then definitely hunt down the Key West tourism board. Their website's fantastic and they have up-to-date regular information about kind of all the more active stuff to do, the festivals, cuisine, all that type of stuff, the history. So always, and I recommend this for everyone. We use them all the time, type of thing. If you're visiting somewhere, definitely hunt down the tourism boards. I know it's very corporate, very, very corporate, but they are amazing resources for information for kind of like just seeing the headline stuff and maybe
Mm.
things that aren't commonly talked about as well. Tourism boards are great for things like that.
Do you know what? That we did that in Fort Lauderdale. We followed on Instagram, and had I not followed them, I wouldn't have seen the Light Festival, which obviously we're going to talk about in another podcast. But it was brilliant because I got all of my tips from Fort Lauderdale, like the art I wanted to see, and all of that came from the Visit Fort Lauderdale Instagram. It was brilliant.
Yeah. They're fantastic. Something about the American ones, especially, but I think all of the Florida boards, visit Orlando, visit Miami, visit Florida, Fort
Mm,
Lauderdale, sorry, visit Key West, visit Tampa. They each of the major cities all have their own social media
mm,
accounts, but they work incredibly hard, I think, because of the competition for kind of everyone goes to Orlando. They don't go to the wider Florida area. So I think these social media teams for the other areas are working overtime to attract you away from Orlando. So their accounts are fantastic. I love following all of the kind of Florida boards, tourism boards for the local different regions, because they showcase local art, local food, cuisine, the bars. If you want to know what the latest bar is, the latest pop up, they've got them all covered type of thing. It's definitely worth keeping an eye out for it.
Yeah, it is brilliant, definitely.
And then just quickly before we wrap up as well, then the types of cruises you can do. Obviously, Miami is a really popular turnaround port for Lauderdale type of thing. You obviously did it with Celebrity. I've been to
Yes.
Key West with Virgin. I'm pretty sure, don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure you can get there with Royal as well, but it'll probably be one of the smaller ships with Royal, I would guess, or some of the older ships I would probably take it in because it's not the biggest port. Pretty sure Holland America go there. Pretty sure Princess do as well. Like, it's not hard to find an itinerary, but you are probably going to find it's going to be one of the Bohemian cruises that's likely to
Mm.
do it. And it's likely to be one of the mid-size or smaller ships rather than the mega ships that are likely to take in Key West, just because, again, it's a small area. You're not going to find the mega ships going there. So just, yeah, it's definitely available, quite easy to get to on a cruise itinerary. It's usually tacked on as part of a kind of longer cruise or a cruise that goes maybe to a private island or something like that. Just that's how, because it's quite close and easy to get to. So it's an easy port for cruises to add on as an extra extension to like the weekend 4 or 5 night cruises. Is very popular on those short 4 or 5 night cruises.
Yeah, I just it's worth, to me, picking an itinerary for that for Key
Mm.
West is, I'd definitely do it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd
I think
definitely
it's
do
worth
it. It's
doing as a
just
land
a lot.
extension, definitely. But a lot of people
Mm,
don't want to do the drive. They don't want to drive
mm,
4 or 5 hours down to it. That's why it's such a fantastic and popular cruise option as well, because you're not doing that long drive. That is a bucket list drive
mm,
for some. Not everybody wants to do it. So that's why it's such a great choice.
definitely.
So, guys, I hope that's given you a really nice kind of taste of what Key West is about. Like, there's so much more to explore. But, we've only briefly touched the surface. We say this all the time with our episodes. So it's definitely worth hunting down some more information. I know you've got your guide, Sarah, that you've written about your time at Key West. Do you want to let the guys know where
Mhm.
they can find that?
Yeah, so this is Key West with kids, but I'm going to do a cruise guide on cruising with kids as well. So that's over on Mini Travelers, and then you'll find more over on cruising with kids. But I'll link down below.
And then if you guys are listening, you live in the UK and you are interested in visiting Key West as one of your ports of call on a cruise, I would definitely love to help you do that. Like I say, I have helped sailors as well who've done it as a post-cruise extension as well. So they're kind of doing the cruise and then they're kind of going down to Key West for a couple of nights as well. We have done that with car hire packages and all that type of stuff. So if you're interested in doing that, you can find me online everywhere and magical-traveler.com, or all my social media is magical TRVLR. Other than that, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this episode and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.
Bye.